Welcome in on a Tuesday morning, donuts with sprinkles as we roll through the month of May. You had May, what is it? Whoa, what was the Justin Timberlake? I've already forgotten the Justin Timberlake. It's going to be May the 1st. You've had my birthday on May the 3rd. Happy 44th to me. 44 is an irrelevant number, by the way. I don't know what I really get out of that. 45 won't really matter next year. It's 46 that I'm scared of, I'll be honest, because at 46, it means that I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. I don't know why. At 36, that really bothered me. 40 didn't. 44 is irrelevant, whatever. 45 is going to be irrelevant or whatever. 46 is going to be the one that I'm going to need some real condolences and some hugs and a little love there, because I will be closer to 50 than I am 46. Sorry, excuse me, than I am to 40. So anyway, and then you've got May the 4th be with you. That is today or yesterday. Excuse me. Today is Cinco de Mayo. So you got May the 5th. So boy, a lot happening in these first 5 days of the month of May. So yesterday, May the 4th be with you. Today, Cinco de Mayo. You can get your margarita on, your nachos, your tacos, whatever it is that you want to feast on, and hope you enjoy the day. But let's talk a little bit here about South Carolina baseball. They get swept this past weekend down in LSU, an LSU team that was actually 6 and South Carolina came in 7-14 in league play. LSU was 6-15, so actually one game behind the Gamecocks in conference play. And LSU was expected to be a national title contender, and they have simply not lived up to that billing right now. But this past weekend, you get kind of an ugly series. The Gamecocks get swept, including a very ugly Sunday game that I think, for all intent and purposes, shuts down the season. Not that I thought South Carolina was going to win a bunch of games and get into the NCAA tournament or make any type of kind of crazy run, but I think it was worth watching them and kind of flipping it on a Tuesday night in the midweek games. They don't have one this week, exam week, down at the college at the university, and then they'll back in action this coming weekend at home against Alabama before a midweek game against Winthrop, and then a last weekend series up in Nashville against Vanderbilt. So you got 7 games left, not counting the one game, maybe 2, and in Hoover at the SEC tournament. And look, you now lost you've lost 5 straight. The third game to Kentucky, you lost that game to Citadel that was real ugly last Tuesday night, a week ago today, and then you get swept this past weekend. And again, I think whatever interest we might have had remaining is out the window now. So it's unfortunate, but it's the way it kind of goes. And now we truly look toward the future, and I don't think we'll start to get true answers until Memorial Day. But let's just talk about right now what we're dealing with, in particular with 2 candidates, and one being the current head coach, Monte Lee. Now, I've said on the radio, and I'll say here again, you can praise Monte Lee. You can give him praise and give him love for the job he has done, while acknowledging he probably shouldn't be. Maybe he should be a candidate. He should get an interview, but that he is not the guy for the job. I truly believe it's time for a clean break, to go in a different direction, to bring in a fresh, to no offense to Ray Tanner. Ray Tanner did some incredible things, both as a coach. He did some things as an AD, but it's time to move away from that on the baseball diamond. Take all those great years, showcase them in the Hall of Fame or somewhere around the park. You've already do that with the statues. Add even more. Build the man a statue. He deserves it. Everything he did at the University of South Carolina as a coach deserves to be recognized and honored. Everything he touched turned to gold, except his coaching hirings. And look, whether it's good, bad, or not, Monte Lee is part of that. Monte Lee coached for him here at the university. Monte Lee was part of his succession plan with Paul Maneri that simply didn't work out. Mark Kingston, unfortunately, and I love Mark, but Mark Kingston, unfortunately, is another guy that was hired by Ray Tanner. So he's part of the Ray Tanner group there. Paul Maneri, obviously, is a guy hired, and we've moved on from him. But you see my point. It's time to go out into the space out there. In South Carolina this past season, for Paul Maneri, was paying as the 13th best job in the country. Number 13, best job. I mean, you're talking about a team that I think is willing to spend another $500,000, maybe a little less, depending on the coach, and that'll bump them right up into top 10 territory in terms of coaches' salaries for the 2027 season next year, if you are indeed willing to do that. And if you're going to pay top 10 money, go get a top 10 or top 15 type coach. No offense to Monte Lee. He might end up being really good. Who knows? Any coach that South Carolina hires could end up being really good. Jay Urso, I think it's Jay, down at the University of Tampa, who's one of the winningest active D2 coaches in the country. Obviously, Landon Powell is at the D2 level. And there's plenty of other names. I've mentioned Wes Johnson as a potential candidate, or as a guy that I really like at Georgia. I shouldn't say as a potential candidate. I do not know any potential candidates, but to me, James Ramsey at Georgia Tech and Wes Johnson would certainly, if I was an AD, at least get a phone call from me and be guys that I would be interested in speaking with. But again, Monte Lee has been around here. Look, I think he's done a fine job this year. He's held a team together where the easiest thing in the world would have been then for them to quit and start worrying about their future, and he deserves credit for that. There is the 2 sweeps on the record there from Mississippi State and from LSU. He doesn't get credit for the Arkansas one because Paul Maneri coached the first game, but that doesn't mean he's a candidate. And I think Monte Lee can go somewhere to another mid-major program like the success he had at Charleston and do really, really well. And I think that's what he should do. I really think his ties to this program are a detriment, unfortunately, to him, to the program, to fans, because we evaluate each and every little thing that he does, and he's going to be under. I think any baseball coach is going to be under a strict evaluation and criticized and praised both very harshly and very positively when they do good things and when they do bad things. And I think with Monte Lee, there's extra there that'll drive people to maybe be a little bit more negative toward him if things don't go the way that you would want. I kind of don't want to see that for him. Whereas a new coach probably gets a honeymoon year, maybe gets a little bit of year 2 if they're playing better, and then by year 3, I think people will have the big expectations of hosting a regional, hosting a super regional, getting back to Omaha, and so forth and so on. So look, I'm going to speak positively about Monte Lee. I think he's a great human being. I think he's a good baseball coach. I don't think he's the right fit for the University of South Carolina. And I don't think at this time now that the University of South Carolina is a good fit for Monte Lee. I think that he needs to venture out if he's willing to do so and see what else is out there for him, whether it's as an assistant at a high-level school, which I think he would do perfectly fine at, or whether it's the head coach at a mid-major. I think that the world is Monte Lee's oyster, as they say, Scarface says, and I think he could do really well out there. So, we'll see, but that's something that certainly is going to be important as we move through this month. And I think some of it comes down to some of it is very simple and really comes down to this coach versus that coach. Like Monte Lee against so you take 2 coaches, you take Monte Lee and you put him against Wes Johnson at Georgia, and Georgia's now up to being a top 5 team. Who would you rather have? You'd probably rather have Wes Johnson. If you put Bradley LeCroy from Liberty against Monte Lee, and that's if that were just to say hypothetically what South Carolina was to end up choosing from, okay, maybe our opinion of Monte Lee changes a little bit at that time, and we're thinking a little bit differently about him. But you see my point. We'll get to know a little bit more in the coming weeks as to whom could be on the potential candidate list. I do hope some things leak out and that we get a little more information as to who Jeremiah Donati is trying to talk to or is trying to convince. And we got some great baseball beat writers out there, John Whittle with Gamecocks 247 and Jack Beltry with Gamecock Central, the On 3 group. So you've got some great guys who I think are going to do a fantastic job. And of course, I've worked with John Whittle before, so I have no doubt that he will be able to go out there and land and get some information and keep us all updated. Certainly on the radio show, we will want to have him on and get whatever information is available from him. I know he's going to be in very high demand as well. So we'll see. But certainly that is something. But I don't think that Monte Lee is the guy. I think that I'm very thankful for what he has done. Very thankful for him holding this program together, but I think it's time to go in a different direction. So that's my Monte Lee spiel from today. Again, I hope that just clears my opinion of him, and you can go from there. Thank you for the viewing. Now, obviously, we've got the new podcast page up. It is going to be a cost called Across the Bar. You'll be able to subscribe on Spotify and Apple. And we ask that you tell everybody that. I ask, I don't know who we is, it's me. I ask that you tell everybody, pass the information along. Obviously, you can always go as well to my Twitter account at will.gunner, Gunter, and of course the YouTube channel down there below at Will Gunner WG Show. So you can go and check us out there as well. And again, now you can visit us on Spotify. Why do I keep saying us? Like there's multiple people here. There might be in the coming days having other people join me for a podcast. This is going to be a little bit more of a wide ranging, longer episodes than what I can put on the radio, where it's limited to about 10 to 12 minutes, so forth and so on. So this will be a little bit type of different way of getting out into the public and doing some stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. Do want to leave you with a little bit of the morning daily devotional, things that I like to do. And this is actually from back on Sunday. This is May the 3rd, from We to Me. And it says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. That is from Galatians 6:2. God's men put others' needs before their own in virtually all cases. And it says, except for maybe that of secure your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Look, go out and care about people. Go out and be there for people. If you're dragging, this is a little bit more from the devotional, if you're dragging around a lot of rocks in a bag from your past, it's really hard to move on from me to we. We know in our minds that we have baggage that keeps us stuck, trauma and wounds that cause us to medicate the pain rather than heal it. And look, I'm one of those people. I can really speak to that in terms of at times, and there's a lot of things for me, whether it was the unfortunate passing of my mother when I was 9 and she passed away of leukemia, whether it's relationships gone wrong, whether it was, my ex-wife or whomever, just things that didn't work out in life. And I can't go around blaming others for it. I have to be introspective and figure out where my faults were. But also then, again, help other people that are out there. I can't focus entirely on me. I can't be selfish. I need to be there for y'all at times, be there for my kids, worry about their issues. And I think that makes us better, much better people as we go through and everything. And so I encourage you today, as you go out there, worry about yourself now. I'm not trying to leave yourself out of this, but be there for others. You never know what somebody's going through, what they're dealing with. And I think it's always good to try and be there for other people. You see people at the office or out and about, and maybe they look down or something. Maybe they need a hug. Maybe they just need a nice compliment. Be there for others. Make it a we and not a me thing. So just a little daily devotional there. The good Lord has been there for me and has really kind of carried me through this year. And so again, God's men put others' needs before their own in virtually all cases. And again, the little joke there coming that except for maybe secure your own oxygen mask, like on a plane, before assisting others. So kind of cute there on the little bit of daily devotional. So hope that makes sense. If you got anything you want to hit me back with, go to the Twitter account at Will, WIL Gunter, GUNTER. And you can tweet at me there, obviously. And again, pass the word across the bar, just like that's where we have most of our conversations, right? Across the bar. You talk to your friends when you're at a bar across the bar. You talk to the bartender across the bar. Everything happens across the bar. We're going to build this I'm going to build this between donuts with sprinkles, between that with some football thoughts throughout time interviews. We got a great interview also with Brian Edwards talking about opening lines of the college football season. So please check it all out and pass the word. And then, of course, make sure you tune in today, 12 to 3, and catch us. JC Sherbert will be joining during that time. Hope you have a great Tuesday. God bless you. God bless all of you for being there for me. As I've dealt with things, by the way, big doctor's appointment on Wednesday of this week, and then a big one I'll follow up next Thursday. So I'll have more information on me. But have a great day. Take care of yourself. Be there for your loved ones. Hug somebody or call somebody you hadn't talked to in a long time today and let them know that you're thinking of them and you care for them. Have a great Tuesday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Don't get too crazy with the margaritas today. And I'm out of here on your Donuts with Sprinkles Tuesday edition, the Gamecock baseball thoughts on Monte Lee. Take care.